No way, Jose.
The following footage proves beyond any doubt that the tanks intentionally set the house on fire. It proves that the Branch Davidians were murdered. You can see that this tank has a gas jet on the front that shoots fire. You can also see the fire quite plainly. The tank goes into the house twice, and each time as it backs out, the fire at the gas jets is plainly visible.
We must all do more to recognize and look for the early warning signals that deeply troubled young people send.
Good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the morning dump. Let me know if I sound good, if I look good, all that good stuff. We are going to be getting into the latest of the day. More on the New Year's killer or New Year's massacre or whatever you're going to call it. And also there was a Cybertruck bomb roughly around that same time. So we have that and more to talk about. We also have, there was an APAC. Apparently the FBI helped out APAC. So woohoo, pat yourself on the back, FBI. We'll probably go into that a little bit today amongst numerous things. We also have Austin joining us in a second. I was just messaging him on Twitter. Kind of said, hey, hop in if you have a chance. Oh, Uncle Ted's in here saying, wasn't there a nightclub shooting? Also, yes, there was. There also was that. So we'll go into all of that. Sorry that we're starting a little bit later than normal. If you've gotten used to the 10 a.m. Eastern normal time, I was dropping my wife off at the airport today. So, yeah, I had to drop her off, so just change the time. It's not even technically morning where I am. I guess if you're like in California, the morning dump title still applies and makes sense, but it is what it is. All right, guys. Well, I see you guys in the chat. No one's saying if it sounds good, but no one's complaining, so I'm sounding we're good. Got a J Tunnel saying, let's fucking go. Morning, boys, from Eddie Grimm. Good morning, Subtards from Doug Torrey. What's up, Jose? What is up from Hey Say What Now? And then Uncle Ted's here as well, saying that killed 10 last night. Yes, I believe it was in that realm. Also, he's saying some dude's Airbnb blew up this morning. Well, isn't that wild? All right, now I'm seeing people saying the audio sounds good. So thank you. Let me know about that. All right, guys, in the meantime, while we wait for Austin to get here and also for the why am I having a brain fart all of a sudden? Also for other stragglers to show up for the live stream, I do want to remind you guys that today's episode is brought to you by Nadeau Shave Co. If you're tired of that razor burn, the irritation, those ingrown hairs you can get from those deep penetrating multi-blade cartridges, then this is the way to go. Return to the traditional shave. You don't need the expensive nonsense shave just like your grandpa used to. Whether you're shaving your whole face or edging up your beard, the single blades give you a barber-grade shave for a fraction of the price. The standard issue gives you one traditional safety razor, as pictured here, in a box of 100 stainless steel razor blades. $75 to shave for an entire year. Let's be real, that's just an estimate. It depends on how much you use it. Now, me, I've barely put a dent in mine. I've had it for over a year. So unless you're shaving on the regular, that should cut it for you, if not even more. It's more than generous. But if you are someone who shaves on the regular every single day, it may not cut it. You may want to consider the Quarter Shave Club. That puts you at about 25 cents per replacement blade. He's also got the shave soaps. He's got 3-in-1 body hair and face soaps. Great stuff. Feels great in the skin. Smells great. Feels good. COVID mandate refusing company. This company was born out of refusing the mandate. This company supports your ideals, supports this show. It's a no-brainer. I mean, if you're shaving your face, Why wouldn't you want to shave it better and cheaper with someone who supports your values? So use code Jose for 10% off your order at nadoshaveco.com. Let them know I sent you. Support them and get a better product. Get a better product than the alternative. But with that, let's go ahead and let's check in with the chat, see what y'all have to say. Someone says, yo, why the thumbnail got a Mohammedan dumping on the toilet? You know they ain't using no toilets. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I thought it seemed timely. I don't know. I just change out the elements in these thumbnails, the people as we go. Obviously, we had the Cybertruck bomb, New Year's killer. It seems they're at least with the massacre. I don't know, what was it, a parade or something? I don't know what it was. That one seems more like they're leaning into the Middle Eastern angle. Although I don't know what the deal is with the Cybertruck bomb. That one's bizarre. We'll get into all that here in a little bit. It's got Doctori say the Fort Bragg Liberty connection is wildly glowish as well. Yes, we'll get into that as well. It's like, let me take some coffee. But yeah, I don't know if I can really vamp too much longer waiting for Austin. I guess we'll just kind of have to, he'll show up when he'll show up. But I guess probably the best place for us to start would be essentially with the New Orleans. Trying to think of what term to go with, what label. The New Orleans massacre, attack, whatever you want to call it. I forget exactly how many people it was. It was a couple dozen. Well, when we talked yesterday, I didn't have a name for you guys. Now we do. This person is Shamsuddin Jabbar. So we're going to get into some of his stuff. 1 second. Let me share this. Share screen. Glenn Greenwald. Real quick, I have to say, someone's saying, "Sup, Jose? What is up? The real D Ford. What it do?" All right, let's pop back into this. This is from Glenn Greenwald. Information here, including a video of him speaking about his job, about the suspected New Orleans attacker, identified by the FBI as U.S.-born citizen Shamsuddin Jabbar. They're also investigating, they say, if he attacked alone. So just to recap, this guy drove his Ford F-150 into a crowded area in New Orleans. I forget what part of the region. Was it Bourbon Street, maybe? I think it might have been a Bourbon Street thing. So a lot of people ran over a bunch of people, got out of the car, started exchanging gunfire with the police. I think it was in the realm of something like a couple dozen or something dead. I forget. Maybe it was something like 10 dead or a few dozen injured. Anyways, it's obviously bad. So that's where we're at. We didn't know who it was yesterday. We were unsure if they were alive or dead. It seems to be the individual is dead. We have it. You can see in the photo here in the bottom right, there's a picture of the body. I've seen some of those. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but it looks close enough, I guess. So it looks like this guy, I haven't gone into the weeds of any of the people's forms of identification, but it seems to be at least what the people are settling on, this kind of being the guy. So obviously maybe this, come to find out it's not the case, but let's look into this guy. This is, let's watch some of his stuff. This guy's also a military guy, just so you know. But let's watch this guy, see if maybe what you can glean from this. This is from his, I actually found this earlier. I don't know if it was on this thread or a different thread. I found this guy's YouTube channel. I don't know if it's still up. People have clipped it up now, though, so it doesn't matter. But either way, this guy had a YouTube channel in his name. Was the name of the channel. I don't know exactly how it was worded. I might actually show it. You know, actually, I think it shows it right here. See, Shamsuddin Jabbar, he had 10 subscribers. It was a personal introduction is what this video is called. He had one little video that was, I think, like a few minutes long. Personal introduction. It was like a professional introduction of some sort. It sounded like for a real estate business, which it seems to imply he was involved in some sort of real estate something or other. But let's play this, see if you guys glean anything from this. This isn't obviously the whole
I'm
video.
Shamsuddin Jabbar, property manager with Blue Metal Properties and team lead at the Midas Group at Core Realty. I just want to say hello and let you know a little bit about me. So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist where I learned the meaning of great service and what it means to be responsive and take everything seriously.
Human resource specialist and IT specialist, those are ones to make note of. Those were the things he said he did in the military. That'll become important when you see later when it comes to other individuals in other attacks. You know, a little bit of foreshadowing. Obviously, if you've read the title, you've seen how the two are connected. That we'll get into that in a bit. There's theories that these are connected.
Dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that things go off without a hit. Good evening. I'm Shamsuddin Jabbar.
I'm not gonna lie. There was a certain schizo part of me that when I watched this, it sounded like it almost reminded me of kind of like a Eye of the Chicken Hawk type of like the pedo people talking to each other, but in code. It felt like that, but like in like a more of a, obviously not such a awful, you know, pedo people, but more of a federal agent vibe of like almost as if they operate out in the open, and it's like they have feds out there that are like, let's say he's freelance or just whatever, and they look through the classifieds. They have a way of organizing these, and they go, oh, here's so and so's introduction video. Oh, he'd be great for this op. Oh, I don't know, and like so something like this where it's like you put it in the frame of someone who's, I don't even know what this was for. It's like a professional sounding, like what things you're committed to. Essentially, you present yourself as how you look, how you talk, can you sound professional. It's almost like a quick little like blurb for like a perfect little profile for agents. Not saying he is an agent. I'm just saying I'm not gonna lie. If I was a little bit schizo and I was like looking for coded words, like is it something like that? Is this like a revealing the method type thing, or is this some sort of like in-group thing to where like this is how they choose people for ops? Or like, oh, this guy. I don't know, because it was weird. Literally just like an introduction of himself, and a lot of the stuff he said, it did seem like it could be like coded language for like, oh, I'll take care of that job. I don't know. You guys tell me if I'm being overly schizo, but that is something that caught my ear, an idea I entertained for a little period of time before I slapped it out, because I was like, that is pretty ridiculous. Here's the photo of him. You know, obviously, I don't know. I could probably get in trouble with YouTube for this one. This is obviously him after he got offed. So I guess, you know, this is as close as the photos are. I don't know how they're confirming otherwise. Obviously, just from maybe just from the authorities. I haven't seen if they're saying authorities. I'm not sure exactly where these sources are coming from Hotspot Media. Also, another key point is that there was an ISIS flag, which that was confirmed later in one of the releases, is that there was an ISIS flag. It might even be in this one here. Yep, this even says here, latest FBI release, including an affirmation that the suspected driver had an ISIS flag in the back of the truck he used. So this guy had an ISIS flag in the back, supposedly, is what we're being told. I thought there was the release in here. Oh, right here. Yep. Right here. So you can see the release. This is from yesterday, January 1st. This is like shortly after we recorded yesterday. It says today, approximately at 3:15 Central Time, an individual drove a pickup truck into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, killing at least 10 and injuring dozens of others. After hitting the crowd, he exited the vehicle and fired upon law enforcement. Law enforcement returned fire, and the subject was pronounced deceased at the scene. 2 law enforcement officers were injured and transported to a local hospital. The suspect has been identified as 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar, a U.S. citizen from Texas. He was driving a Ford pickup truck, which appears to have been rented, and we are working to confirm how the subject came into possession of the vehicle. An ISIS flag was located in the vehicle, and the FBI is working to determine the subject's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations. I will say, when we talked yesterday, there was already like a hubbub about the flag. But then everyone kept showing photos of the back of the truck, and there was a pole and some sort of black thing on it. It was hard to tell if it was a flag or what. So it is weird that it's like that was on the back, and now they're saying it's inside the vehicle, located in the vehicle, unless they're considering a pole that's sort of dangling from inside the truck bed is in. I mean, maybe they're being I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but I find that weird. That the whole contention was, oh, look, there's a flag in the back. Oh, now there's a flag inside. Maybe there's both. I don't know. Weapons and a potential IED were located in the subject's vehicle, which that's another point which we knew yesterday as well about the possible IEDs. But I just wanted to highlight that as well. Yes, supposedly this once again confirms or double confirms the concept that there were supposedly IEDs around, which we'll get into that more later. There's other stuff. But yes, there were IEDs, which I don't know if we'll get more actual official info here in a bit, but I do have some more tabs on that. Other potential IEDs were also located in the French Quarter. The FBI special agent bomb technicians are working with our law enforcement partners to determine if any of these devices are viable, and they will work to render those devices safe. The FBI is the lead investigative agency, and we are working with our partners to investigate this as an act of terrorism. We are aggressively running down all leads to identify any possible associates of the subject. The FBI has set up a digital tip line, and we ask anyone with information or video of the incident to submit them to www.fbi.gov/Bourbon Street Attack or call 1-800/call/FBI. Yeah, so that's a recap of the event. That's where we're at now. I do find it particularly interesting that the IEDs, as I mentioned yesterday, it almost always is a common thing. All right, let's bring Austin on here. Here he is. I don't know how long you've been sitting there, bud. What's up, dude?
What's up, buddy? No, I just got here, man.
All right, cool. Let me pop in the chat, see what they have to say real quick.
Another flag season up in here, huh?
Yeah, right. And we got
starting
a few.
Off hot.
Yeah. We got Uncle Ted saying another house blew up and killed 3 in Hawaii this morning. He said it was fireworks, but no way, Jose. I bet it was a cell and something went wrong. It wasn't his 150. Yes, we were going to get into that. I didn't want to get too ahead of us. It was a Toro rental, just like the Cybertruck, which we'll get into in a bit. Yes, they both were rented from the same rental thingamaboob. Let me see. The flag was on the trailer hitch. Yes, that's what I was saying. Like, it looked on the trailer hitch, but then in the FBI release, it's saying inside the vehicle. Now, are they considering? Now, if you looked at the pole, I do think it was kind of coming from inside of the truck bed. But I mean, it's still like it being inside of a truck bed is outside of a truck to me. You know what I mean? Like, so like I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Everyone's saying hi, Austin. What's up? What is this? Does this have anything to do with the H-1B bill? Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know if any of these tabs are going to present this theory, but it is one theory which we'll get into with the Cybertruck. Obviously, that's much more of a straight through line to Elon. And then there's connections between the two. There are theories that people have that in light of Elon's recent fucking, spiraling on Twitter and kind of like this losing of face with his base, that it would be kind of perfect for like, let's just lap it up. This guy, he comes on right off the bat with all this like, we have the telemetry data for this, that, this. We're going to help. Like he's Johnny on the spot. And now he's also been tweeting super, I guess you could say far more based or whatever in the past like day. So it's like, I don't know. It is kind of like this is the perfect timing for him for something to fall in his lap that works just right for him. So I don't know. That is one theory. I'm not saying that is the case. Obviously, there's nothing really based it off of other just than a Q Bono type thing. But yeah, he Q boners for sure there. So yeah. What's up, dude?
My God, man.
Yeah, you've been following along with all these things. I guess we have. I knew we had a shooting in Queens. I think we had the Cybertruck explosion. We had the New York, massacre in New Orleans. Not New York, the New Orleans massacre. And then I guess Uncle Ted is telling me that there also was a house that blew up in Hawaii from supposedly fireworks or something.
Wow. I'm not aware of that, but yeah, as far as like the main events that occurred yesterday, like it was hard to miss those, but I don't know, buddy. Like they're getting a lot sloppier, it seems, and it really, I don't know if it's just like they've lost, almost like this. For me, the fact that it's so clearly, obviously a false flag when you look at the background of the individuals who were involved with and as far as like the person who owned the Cybertruck, right, allegedly, right, or who rented the Cybertruck, like just the fact that they were allegedly, attended the same military base as the individual from New Orleans, right, like, and there is obviously some sort of investigation happening, looking into a potential connection there, which I wouldn't at all be surprised. And now that we're fully aware of the fact that what was the guy's name? The guy from Vegas with the Cybertruck that he clearly has like some special
Give me a
forces
second.
background.
Matthew Livelsberger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. Was it Fort Bragg that the dude
Fort
from
Bragg,
New
both
Orleans?
are Fort Bragg. Yeah. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's focus like more on this. These are all things that we will get into. I do see Doc Torrey saying, I heard that Hawaii one has video and is unrelated, but the Airbnb is definitely related. Now this confuses me because I didn't realize that there was an Airbnb something and a Hawaii something. I thought there was a Hawaii something, that was it. And then I also didn't realize this Airbnb thing is somehow related. So you may want to expand on that in the chat, Dr. Tori, because I'm like, are you saying there's some sort of other Airbnb happening of some sort that is connected in with the Cybertruck and the New Orleans, massacre thing? Because if so, that's pretty wild. There's another node to all of this. But either way, it is bizarre. Let's bring up this. Let me see real quick. Oh, God damn it. Here we go. It's from Mike Baker, which, if I recall, I think Mike Baker is the glowy that Joe Rogan always brings on Rogan. Yeah, so I don't know. I just saw this and I thought it was useful. But then as I was looking, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is from a spook. So obviously keep this in mind. This could literally just be the seeded information. It's like, where did you get this from? Don't worry about it. I have it on good authority. So this could be this could literally be me showing you the source of where the disinfo is coming from, or this could be good info. So just keep in mind when you're reading this. I'm not saying take this as fact. Just know this is coming from a source that I guess I don't know if you'd call him a high level source. It's coming from Mike Baker. Just know that so it has that behind it. It's coming from the spook that gives information to Joe Rogan.
Right.
It might be totally legit. It might be fucking deep state disinfo. So just saying. But it says a man who knew Shamsuddin Bahar Jabbar tells us that Jabbar had converted to Islam and then began acting erratically in recent months. This concerning behavior led to him having limited contact with his children. So we also spoke to the man who rented the truck to Jabbar. Here is our updating the story of the suspect of the New Orleans attack. And then here shows the route, which whatever, who gives a shit. Which I guess it does matter, the route. If you are familiar with the area, note that the turn from Canal to Bourbon is right where one of the anti-driving wedges has been installed in the street. The city said those types of devices have been malfunctioning and were being replaced, because that is a big thing, as people brought up that how the fuck was this guy able to drive, because I guess this was in the path of them. Here's the photo for those familiar with New Orleans. I am not. It's coming from Canal Street. Took a right, went around this police car, around, I guess, one of the little barrier things or some shit, which I guess is a point of contention, and then right through Bourbon Street, crashed. This is where you can see people injured from the videos at this spot in the diagram. Then obviously they got out and started shooting at some point. So anyways, that just gives you more of a visual diagram. Just kind of, seems to be the narrative, at least this one so far that's forming, is radicalized, homeside radicalized man. Obviously we already saw what I think it was Phil Labonte fucking tweeted something somewhere. It was like about somewhere they tweeted and didn't call it a terror attack or something, because this is what the left-right games is like. Now it's like, well, they don't want to call it a terror attack because that would reveal it's the left engaging in violence. And you're like,
right.
Shut the fuck up. Like, just
Brother,
shut the fuck up.
I know. And the video,
like, it's just so fucking dumb.
Right.
But that is the angle that seems to be forming, is that, look, we have left-wing homegrown terrorism. The mainstream doesn't want to report it on this way or that way because of the left. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, we also got that with Luigi Mangione.
Exactly.
So it's
That's
like,
exactly what
is this the move now? Is this the angle? Is this where the powers that be feel comfortable seeding blame is on left-wing domestic terrorism? That way, is that where,
Jose,
because MAGA's fucking just gobbling up fucking, the tech bros come right now, that they're just like, this is fucking, this is the perfect time for them to be like, fucking the commies are fucking turning into Batman guys. Oh no, like, is that what's going on? I don't know.
Right. And the
Yeah.
brother of this guy from the New Orleans attack, right? Like that was some very, like, just the video itself, like extremely my first thought was Abu Taba and the radicalization pipeline that was attached to Omar Mateen and the very, like, Michael Sanford as well, and the various attacks that were happening around the same period of time during the election season, the height of the hysteria. And it was sort of piggybacking off of this LGBT right wing domestic terror movement, with also, kind of able to, like, fuse together not only this right-wing domestic terrorism idea, but also this ISIS connection of the Islamic radicalism, which is involved with the seminary pipeline of the Abu Taba, right? The radicalized. Anyway, it's like, to me, I just see all the hallmarks, and this individual, I would like to get more of an education on his background and the details specifically, because I'm sure there's some sort of, like, you
Dude,
don't
are
become
you
like
seeing
the
this
Omar
right now?
Mateen. What's it say?
Are you seeing this? This is what
Hold
we were
on.
talking about in the chat. Doctori420 dropped this in the Rumble chat, which, by the way, you guys can
Oh my
do that.
God.
Drop articles or links and stuff in there. Preferably, at least on the Rumble one, it works pretty well, and I can go over there and I can follow them, and then I can bring them up on the screen. But yeah, this is what we were talking about with the Airbnb. It says, new dozens evacuated after fire erupts at New Orleans Airbnb rented by terrorists who plowed over New Year's Eve crowd on Bourbon Street. So that's this guy right here, Shamsuddin Jabbar. Not only did this occur, his fucking Airbnb caught fire.
Wow.
Huh. Let's look at this. Dozens of people were evacuated after a fire erupted at a New Orleans Airbnb rented by the terrorists who plowed over New Year's Eve revelers on Bourbon Street. At least 10 people were killed, 35 injured. Okay, so that's the numbers. I keep fucking up the numbers. So 10 people killed, 35 injured after a terrorist identified as 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar plowed through a crowd in New Orleans during the New Year's Eve celebration. Investigators have uncovered evidence suggesting that Jabbar did not act alone, Fox News reported. A high-level source indicated that there are at least 4 to 5 other suspects involved in the planning and execution of this heinous act. The terror attack, which occurred at 3:15 a.m. on Wednesday, saw Jabbar, dressed in full military gear, maneuver his vehicle around barricades before plowing into the crowd of revelers. After the vehicle came to a stop, Jabbar opened fire on police officers, injuring 2 who are now in stable condition. An ISIS flag was reportedly found in the truck, so that reports in as well. There's a photo of him on the ground. According to NOLA, authorities and bomb squad technicians arrived to a rental at 1329 Mandeville Street to investigate after firefighters put out the blaze. The Airbnb was reportedly rented by Shamsuddin Jabbar. All right. No words on injuries at the rental property. Okay. After fire. So I'm wondering, was this after the attack or okay? NOLA reported dozens of people were evacuated from the law enforcement. Okay, none of that matters. I'm skimming through that. I've seen if they gave us a time or anything. Yeah, no, that's that. I don't know. So I guess it's not technically clear here. I'm not seeing anything that clarifies whether the fire happened before or after that.
Well, apparently,
or how he timed it in accordance with that. But that is wild.
Yeah,
That's
I'm seeing
nuts.
that. It looks like the Louisiana Illuminator, some sort of local publication. They had reported that the Attorney General, Liz Muriel, she told WDSU-TV that the house fire is connected to the terror attack. It tells us, she says, quote, it tells us, 1, they planned this out. 2, they tried to cover this up, Muriel said. So, I don't know. Maybe there was some sort of evidence in the...
Yeah.
But still, that's a strange perspective. But the fact that she, like, without a doubt is clearly connecting them, in the public. That's pretty
nuts.
strange. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
I
guess the New Orleans police chief is the ex-Oakland police chief. I don't know. Do with that what you will. I don't know if that means anything or matters at all. All right, let's look at this one, I guess. This is from Scott, shared it, and Scott Horton said, New York Post talks to Kook's brother. New Orleans terrorist Shamsuddin Jabbar's brother blames deadly attack on radicalization, not religion. Let's look at that, see if there's anything worthwhile in here. Now it's saying 14 dead. I guess initially it was probably 10. I'm assuming. Okay, the numbers changed. That's where I said like a dozen. All right.
Dude, it just reminds me of Omar Mateen pledging allegiance to ISIS. Like, that's all it reminds me of.
Yeah, brother.
Every single time this happens.
Yeah, brother says radicalization's to blame, blah, blah, blah. Here's like, it looks like a more
I'm curious to know
current photo as opposed to the more cleaned up versions of him.
Yeah.
Curious to know what's up?
I'm going to look something up because I'm very curious to know like what his affiliation was to which, right, like the seminary course that radicalized Omar and Michael
I'm wondering
Sanford
if there's some Nation of Islam here. I even put out a tweet yesterday because like I played him talking a little bit ago. I don't know if you've seen the video of him talking. I joke and I said a Nation of Islam sounding type brother is what I call him because he does. He sounds like the black dudes that you would hear at like Nation of Islam or Black Panther events or something.
Yeah,
it's that type of cadence, that
Absolutely.
like that delivery. Like a Nation of Islam type, I know that archetype. I don't even know how to explain it other than that. Like people have heard those types talk, the Malcolm X types, the whatever. Like he's got that type of delivery. So I was like, is there some sort of, and he would fit the demographic for a Nation of Islam. So I'm like, is there some sort of, and Nation of Islam glows like the fucking sun.
Oh yeah.
So
look up Marcus Dwayne Robertson, who was Abu Taba, who was, the former terrorism expert and was involved in former FBI, right?
Yeah.
The CIA legitimately brought him into domestic terror operations as far as covert, and then kind of seeded this plausible idea of him like having a falling out with a CIA handler, but he was a U.S. Marine and an FBI agent who allegedly turned Muslim extremist. Brother,
you heard what I just said about Omar Mateen, right? Or you were talking about Omar Mateen, right? Pledging allegiance.
I'm talking. Yeah, I mean, this is the alleged.
Just saying, I just saw it right there. Pledge allegiance to ISIS. The outlet reported, citing law enforcement officials because you were talking about Omar Mateen.
Oh my God, dude!
So yeah, videos posted to his Facebook page prior to the attack. Shazmuddin Jabbar pledged allegiance to ISIS. So. There you go. That I just thought it was funny. You literally just brought up Omar Mateen, so I was like, "Oh shit!" Let me see if I can
find the playbook,
find
buddy. That's crazy.
Yeah, wild. I followed that link to see if I could find a video of it. I'm not seeing anything of that Facebook video, but all right, get out of there. Yeah, that's so far. I'm just scrolling through this thing to see if there's anything worthwhile. It doesn't sound like there's anything. It literally just sounds like this is just a propaganda piece, basically. I'm not seeing anything of note other than his brother said, he's a great guy. I think this is more about, radicalization as opposed to religion, and that's it. And they made a whole article out of that. Oh, geez. It also never mind. Then he says he also confessed he planned on murdering his family in one of these videos.
Dude, this is Omar Mateen. Like, what the hell?
The twice divorced terrorist had 2 daughters, aged 15 and 20, with his ex-wife, Nakedra Charles, according to the New York Times. That's sad. Chasmud was driving while recording those videos, and authorities believe that they could have been recorded while he was on the road to Louisiana from his Houston home, according to those sources. The feds do not believe the terrorist acted alone while carrying out the attack in the French Quarter. Shazmuddin, an Army vet from Texas, was flying an ISIS flag attached to a rented Ford F-150 Lightning EV pickup when he plowed into the crowd. Yeah, another thing attached. I think people are just being stupid and not being precise in the language when it comes to in or whatever. But anyways, I think it was just the rod into the crowd of New York's Eve revelers on Bourbon Street. All right, yeah, wild. So I guess some more information. This guy definitely seemed off his rocker. I wish we could find those Facebook videos. I had a feeling those are probably already gone, although people probably swooped them up somewhere, I would presume.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Find.
He also worked for Deloitte. I don't know what Deloitte is. They first reported he was Nation of Islam, but then retracted it. I wonder how the Nation of Islam Blats feel about the Black Hebrews. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else. We got this. Here's a video. This is from Luke Rudkowski. This is from Fox. This looks like this is supposed to be a lot bigger of an event. It's multiple suspects. We're also planting bombs all through New Orleans. So we got a 3-minute video here. Let's go ahead and play it.
Detonation, and this is again from a Louisiana State Police bulletin. Also, a corresponding remote control discovered inside the vehicle. Now, this is also significant. According to the same intelligence bulletin, surveillance footage, Molly, captured 3 men and a woman placing one of multiple improvised explosive devices. So certainly more to this investigation. President Biden, meanwhile, is not here at the White House today on this first day of 2025. He's at the presidential retreat in the Maryland mountains, Camp David. However, he is continuing to get updates from his team, from the Homeland Security Department, from the Justice Department, also from the FBI. I want to read something that the president said. Actually, I want to go to, rather, some sound from President Biden on the tarmac before he took off from Delaware to go to Camp David. Watch this.
I've spoken to every member of the agency, from the CIA to our national security team, to our FBI, NSC, and we're gathering all the, and I spent a lot of time with the government, with the mayor.
What was your reaction when you heard what happened?
Well, the reaction was one of anger and frustration. Thank you.
He didn't say much there. He said he would say more later, but he did release a statement more thoroughly that says, in part, my heart goes out to the victims and their families who were simply trying to celebrate the holiday. There's no justification for violence of any kind, and we will not tolerate any attack on any of our nation's communities. Meanwhile, the man who's moving into this White House behind me in less than 3 weeks, President-elect Donald Trump, put out a statement on social media earlier today that reads as follows. When I said that the criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before. Our hearts are with all the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department. The Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil. Now, the former president said criminals coming in a statement, meaning into our country. But to be clear, Molly and Brian, the suspect was born in the United States. He served in the United States Army. He was a veteran. The FBI is the lead agency in this investigation, going through the social media and any other accounts associated with the suspect. But that key bulletin right there by the Louisiana State Police, the Associated Press, was first to report, shows potentially other people involved. And the FBI was cagey during that news conference as far as saddling in with a specific number of how many other suspects. Governor Jeff Landry, the Republican governor in Louisiana, said they essentially don't want to tip their hat to anybody and tell any other potential suspects or potential accomplices what they know. But President Biden continuing to get updates from afar. He will be back at the White House tomorrow. And of course, it's possible at any time we will hear some more formal statement about this tragedy on New Year's Day. Detonation.
All right, yeah. Well, I mean, this is why I fucking hate the old news. This is 3 minutes of like what was maybe 15 seconds of shit I actually was pertinent. Yeah, I mean, they just repeated the line of their people. I was hoping maybe there'd be something substantive in there about where they're getting the idea of the other people other than just authorities say. So it seems like we're just still at authorities say there might be other people. So this feels like early fucking OKC. In that way. So I don't know what will be the fact going through. I don't know if they'll just drop this whole other people line, but this is definitely something worth keeping an eye on.
Right. Yeah, I'm desperately trying to find details of who he would like, which Islamic, fundamentalist ideological like influence was potentially behind his alleged radicalization, because I think that has typically been kind of, a red flag that usually results once you kind of pursue that avenue of information. It typically, results in some sort of, what seems to be a smoking gun, because it typically ties back to some kind of right? He's a sergeant himself, apparently, in the military, and was stationed in Afghanistan, even though he allegedly didn't see combat, in like 2009, I believe. But he was honorably discharged. But apparently he wanted to join the Navy, and like it gave me like Timothy McVeigh vibes, where he was dismissed like instantly from his training. And it seemed as if, like, you remember when McVeigh's like, yeah, they called out my social security number and right, and said, hey, you scored higher than the rest of these, right? You're uniquely qualified for domestic covert operations. And his life changed forever. And so I don't know, man, like that is all that I see when you just, how the hell can you have such ridiculous synchronicities when it comes to not only the timing of these attacks that took place, which again perfectly mirrors the operations happening in 2016 with Omar and Michael Sanford and Micah Xavier Howard and brother. I mean, it's like the fact that they coordinated to that extreme, and then you have the actual, right, like legitimately going on the record, Michael Sanford, claiming that they were trained all at the same location and right, and at some sort of black site. And so, yeah, I'm very much under the impression that Gladio is alive and well, buddy. Right? Like,
100%.
Yeah.
Our episode here in like a month might be pretty damn prescient.
Exactly.
I do want to pop in. Someone was brought up that he was working for Deloitte. They're saying Deloitte's an accounting firm. I'm sure they're delighted to be connected to this. I don't know if you're assuming this is like some big level accounting firm, if that's like why that's a big deal, or I don't know, because I know you had mentioned that it's where they worked earlier, so maybe that's relevant in some reason. I don't know. Decentral Reyes as Decentral Eyes, I guess would be there we go. Yeah. Hey boys, he apparently attended Masjid Bilal up in Houston, so I doubt he was Nation of Islam. I'm not sure what Masjid Bilal is. I'm assuming maybe just a different sect from Nation of Islam. So maybe that's why he's saying he's not. I don't know. Either way, kind of a black Arab type. And then Uncle Ted says, does it feel like all the false flags take place right before a president takes office? Would legitimately just be an appropriation thing? Yeah, we were actually talking about this in Targeting last night, and we're like, we all are like, I don't know, it kind of feels like Trump could be, unalived at any point. And so you're like, is that just what this has become? Is just that like it's this forever now? The limit has been pushed to such a degree that now we're at a point where we're dealing with a president that's like literally like the whole time trying to suck off global homo cock so hard to not be unalived. Like, you know what I mean? Like that is where we're at, because he's like, oh shit, I went too far. And now all he's trying to do is give the global homo agenda everything it possibly wants just to stay alive. You know what I mean? Is that where we're at now? Is that where we're just going to dance to stay alive, and all everything was to get this guy in just so that he can try not to die for 4 years by doing everything they want him to do, by like blowing friggin' Israel to the 23. Obviously they'll code it in a right-wing flavor, but it's I don't know, it does kind of feel like, oh shit, yeah, I don't know if he's really the people's person, or is he really just gotten to a point where he's like, I think I need to do what the fuck they say if I want to keep breathing. I don't know. I mean, that or he's just one of them. It's either all theater or he's like, he is playing a dangerous game. And if he's playing a dangerous game, he also may be like playing a game and like, well, shit, now I'm just capitulating because it's like, I don't want to be unalive. So I don't know. I don't think it's a good situation either way. Dr. Orr saying Deloitte has had a relationship with the CIA and has been involved in various projects related to intelligence and consulting services. Here we go. In 2016, Deloitte was awarded 2 CIA task orders to provide the spy agency with consulting and modernization services. Here's a link. Let's follow that link real quick. Yeah. See, these links come in handy. Hell yeah, dude. Just haven't said. Accountants and Spies, The Secret History of Deloitte's Espionage Practice. All right. Oh, my God. From 2016. I'm not going to... I don't even know if I would really... Maybe we can cover this tomorrow. We'll go deeper into that tomorrow. Maybe. Because this seems like nerd shit that I'm like, I don't even understand how this is glowy stuff. I'll just take your word for it. But also just
James Holmes and his dad. Same with Adam Lanza.
That's wild, though, dude.
Yeah.
So this guy's working. See, I mean, I don't remember catching that, so I'm kind of taking you guys' word for it that he worked at Deloitte. But that's wild that you're saying he worked for Deloitte. But yeah, I'm gonna save that tab for tomorrow. Yeah, because maybe dig into that tomorrow, huh? Yeah, this is Dr. Rory said I got into Deloitte when breaking open the SBF and FTX stuff. So that's wild, dude.
Wow.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Same. It claims USA Today says he had financial woes. Shamsuddin Jabbar, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Had financial woes despite lucrative job at Deloitte.
Huh.
Yeah. Court records showed this. Wow. So he had previous ex-wives, I guess, as well, and so some of this came out in public court records because of his kind of marital disputes. That's interesting.
Huh. Yeah, no, he said he worked there in MIT and Mitas or whatever in his YouTube intro. I already deleted that tab, or else I'd bring it back up. But that was the one from earlier, from the Glenn Greenwald tweet. Yeah, so I guess they're saying that he said that in there. And then she's Decentral Eyes saying it's just a local Sunni masjid. But I read he was radicalized in Egypt, which is giving 911 hijackers vibes.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Well, guess who went
Egypt,
to? Yeah. Abu Taba did the exact same thing. He was sent for this training in this Islamic seminary course, right, which he then began. But he was sent to train under these radical Islamic like training courses, right? And it was essentially all set up through his CIA handler, and so this mirrors that exact playbook as well. So the recognition, my brother, my God, like to me, this just fits perfectly in place with how they're conducting modern Gladio, right? So
yeah. All right,
especially.
Oh, sorry. Go for it. Go ahead.
Oh,
I was just gonna bring on another node to this. I haven't looked into the details of this, so I don't know anything. I just know this happened. So this is to me just pattern recognition at this point, just like another event. So this may be not connected whatsoever. Mass shooting in New York City. At least 13 victims shot at the Amazura nightclub located at 9112 144th Place, Jamaica, Queens. Massive crime scene set up, unknown condition of the victims. This was last night at midnight, like 12:03. So this was about 14 hours ago. So this happened. So I mean, I don't know anything about it. I'm just saying that's another major attack. This was in Queens, so New York. Obviously then we had the one in. God, what was the Elon one? We're gonna get into the Cybertruck one in a minute. I forget where that was at. Was that that was Vegas?
Yeah.
So we got Vegas, New York, and we got where was the other one?
Well, LA that apparently
in Louisiana. Yeah, and then LA.
Yeah.
So so I mean, shit, those are all pretty major areas. Somewhat LA. Yeah. Okay.
The exact same thing that happened in 2016 because, they had simultaneously they had Omar Mateen popping off in the Pulse nightclub operation, and then you had the LGBTQ parade happening in LA, which that was the individual perpetrator who named Omar as one of his buddies who he was trained with at the black site domestically by the CIA operatives, who he was unaware that was even a part of this, because he apparently he organically believed in this Islamic seminary course and had been legitimately radicalized enough to the point to where he was lured to this black site and then provided this on the ground training, because they were already on compounds training in basically given basic training. That's what they were given, right? And so then they were given more enhanced advanced training at these various black sites as well. But the fact of the matter is they were lured there by this Islamic seminary course, which was set up by an intelligence asset, right? Directly connected to the CIA. And so I think, yeah, this is all just this sort of radicalization of the Islamic radicalization, right? Is very much just this sort of, plausible narrative for a lot of the boomer class to buy into, I think, because you have so many I think that's what a lot of this influences, as far as like, that's the base that you're looking for in terms of influencing with these narratives, in my opinion.
Who buys, who votes.
Absolutely.
The consumer class. Yeah. The
Right.
consumer class. Yeah.
100%, man.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah. Oh, sorry. You more to say, bud?
no, it's okay, man.
Oh, I
just-
was actually going to talk over you. But
I have that video, by the way, on Twitter
which
of
one?
his buddy that I booked, of his him talking about his military service, and like, I had bookmarked it. Did you bring that up yet, or did you want to bring that up?
Which one? The
New Orleans.
The New Orleans guy? Oh, you actually have a
Yeah.
video of him talking about his military service?
I bookmarked it, so let me see.
Was
if I
his? Are you talking about his YouTube video, his little introduction, or is that what you're talking about?
that's all I'm talking about.
We
yeah.
played that earlier. We played a 30-second
okay,
clip. You
cool,
said his military. I know, and I knew in that video he referenced it. I think just kind of like in a professional way. But like, I thought you were saying something like he went specifically into his military stuff, and I was like, oh shit, like really?
that
Like,
would be awesome.
but no, yeah, you saw the introduction one. We played that. I think it was like right before you showed up is what we were getting into. So, but let's go ahead and play this video for the Cybertruck. I got a couple videos lined up for a Cybertruck story. For those aren't aware, over at the Trump Tower in Vegas, a Cybertruck exploded.
Dude, Vegas is also where, right? The exact that was the which casino was that? The Trump
MGM?
assassination attempt in Vegas.
I
think it was,
Vegas. There was an
yeah.
assassination attempt in Vegas.
Yeah.
was there?
Oh yeah, bud. Hey, remember
We had the one at the golf course. And we had
in
the one at
2016 when he was running for president.
Oh shit! I forgot all about that. That's the one everyone forgets about. That's the whole thing about that.
Yeah. He's connected directly in with that same Islamic radical
So it
seminary.
was at this
course.
tower. It was at this tower. Is your point?
It happened in Vegas.
Yeah.
At a rally, at a Trump rally, right?
Probably at
And
Trump
it
Tower.
was this. It was that dude that I mentioned earlier, Michael Sanford.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, I just find it interesting because it was. Let me see. On June 18th, 2016, that's when it was at in Michael Stephen Sanford. He was 20 years old, and that's when he attempted to grab the service pistol of the Vegas Metropolitan Police officer, and then later, after he's tackled to the ground and everything, claims that it was in order to assassinate Trump because he had just gotten, extremely close to him. He was allegedly like, "Oh, I want to meet him and shake his hand at the rally," right? And anyway, it turns out he allegedly has mental disorders, right? Which is what they typically point to as like, some FBI entrapped, kid on the spectrum. But anyway, the point being is just the fact that, right, this incident took place and really goes, underreported, and a lot of people I don't think are even aware that this happened, because I myself wasn't aware until I did the Pulse nightclub episode. But anyway, I just thought it was important to point out because this happened at the Treasure Island Hotel and Casino at that at that event that was like I said, just a presidential election rally for Trump, but still that hits all the locations just as this did, right? So you have Orlando, Vegas, and LA, all of this happening at the same time in 2016, because that's when the exact same week was when Michael Sanford happened, but the exact same day is when Omar Mateen and the LA LGBTQ attack happened, right? And so for the parade. So yeah, I think it's been extremely coordinated, right?
Yeah.
I think that in itself is a smoking gun in many ways, right? And I don't understand. That is very sloppy to me, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, well, but anyway, so we have this bomb. Obviously, a lot of people are saying there's symbolism in the fact that it happened at Trump Tower. It was happened at a Cybertruck. So there's Elon, there's the Trump connection. This is kind of what I was alluding to earlier, where someone said, "Oh, this type of tie into the H-1B conversation." There are people who are surmising that, like Quay Bono or whatever, who benefits. Elon would benefit from this. So you could take the case of like, well, maybe this is contrived. He called up one of his Pentagon contracts. Was like, "Hey, can you make X, Y, and Z happen?" Ta-da! Now his name's back in it. He gets to be the guy who comes in here and goes, gets to be the big hero, Johnny in the spot. So I don't know. I don't think that's the case, honestly. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if I found out it was, but I have no reason to believe that other than just happens to be a coincidence when he's been kind of dealing with online embarrassment recently, that it's kind of at a time when he really could use a W. But let's go ahead and play this.
That source also revealed what was inside the truck, explosives that included fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel, and authorities believe that was connected to a detonation system controlled by the driver. We're also hearing this same sentiment from Elon Musk, who tweeted out that they have now confirmed that the explosion was caused by very large fireworks and or a bomb carried in the bed of the rented Cybertruck and is unrelated to the vehicle itself. So he was clear to say that this was not an issue with the Cybertruck. And the sheriff also earlier said that they are checking for secondary devices. They're investigating many different leads, but he was clear to say that there does not appear to be any further threat to the Las Vegas community.
Yeah, so that's it sounds like it's a truck bomb of some sort. It doesn't sound. I don't think anyone was hurt or anything. So this is more just completely symbolic. It seems. I've heard I've heard it said that the driver was in the car, that he wasn't. I'm unsure. Here we go. We have Elon saying apparently this appears likely to be an act of terrorism. Both the Cybertruck and the F-150 suicide bomb in New Orleans were rented from Turo. Perhaps they are linked in some way. It is interesting that he does, when he frames the F-150 as a suicide bomb, they both kind of are doing the same thing. Like the Cybertruck is an explosion. It's a bomb. They're both kind of like a suicide attack of sorts, like a new age version. So interesting. Yeah, here's another quick little video we can watch.
Let's talk about Las Vegas, because this has been a sort of interesting development. The images of the Cybertruck parked outside the Las Vegas Trump property went viral. I think people thought it was an accident and that no one was hurt. And so there was a sort of bizarre symbolism in that it was a Cybertruck, it was out Trump. As it's developed, it seems that this is being taken far more seriously. What have we learned about what authorities know and how they're investigating this?
Right.
Wait. This says, oh, never mind. I was confused by the thing at the bottom.
Chris, so according to the reporting of myself, my colleagues Andrew Blankstein and Kelly O'Donnell, right now, 3 senior U.S. law enforcement officials say that this explosion of a Tesla Cybertruck, kind of in the portico there where you saw that smoke rising from in front of Trump's property in Las Vegas, is being investigated, at least initially, as a potential act of terrorism, and that it was, quote, intentional. And there was a...
All right, yep, that's that. That was just them saying it's intentional. I was just playing more on that. I mean, obviously, I think we've kind of established, it seems pretty clear, this was likely intentional at this point. All right, I'm going to pop in the chat. See, I haven't seen what they have to say in a hot minute. From what I'm hearing from vets, the Vegas guy had a real bad reputation. I don't know exactly what that means. Maybe he was super gung-ho, kill 'em all type. I haven't seen anything on that, so I can't comment. So I don't know what you're hearing from vets. The guy's having a bad reputation. I don't know. Yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to see if there's anything. What else we have on this side? As I said earlier, we do have a name. I'm not sure where people got figured out a name. We did mention earlier. I guess I want to re-highlight this. That these were both rented from the same place, both this vehicle and the New Orleans and the Vegas ones. I guess we can probably go ahead and start getting into parallels between those. So here's from Kyle Becker. Let's see, let me take this down. Parallels between New Orleans and Las Vegas attacks. Both are Army veterans. Both were stationed at Fort Bragg. Both attackers killed in separate incidents. Then both use P2P car sharing app Turo. Turo was the app that they used for this. And then both were IT specialists with computer systems knowledge. Because that is the thing, as I mentioned earlier, keep an eye on the job titles. I believe they both had the same exact job titles in the military as well. We haven't shown you who this guy is. Let me see if I can find another tab that's probably a little bit better for showing who this guy is specifically. 1 second. All right, share this tab. It's Matthew Livelsberger, 37, identified as the driver of the Cybertruck that exploded in Vegas. He's listed on LinkedIn as an operations director and intelligence manager with special forces experience. So here's the guy. Here's photos of him. You can see his LinkedIn, operations director, intelligence manager, remote autonomous systems, SUAS, special forces, Green Beret. This is the dude whose fucking rented Cybertruck blew up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, are they just trying to spit in our mouth right now? I don't know what the feds are doing here. I don't know what's going on. It's just sometimes life is just too bizarre. I don't even know what to say with that one. Yeah.
My God, man.
Yeah, we got.
I'm seeing that there are very shady connections to this Masjid Bilal as well. So it seems like there are a lot of like very interesting Saudi connections to this, to these a couple of different mosques that are interconnected, and that was exactly the case with Mike Xavier Howard and Omar Mateen as well. So it makes a lot of sense, right?
Huh. Yeah,
I'm telling you, I'm trying to dig even deeper as we're sitting here, because there has to be deeper connections with between an intelligence, right? Like, as far as I'm concerned, there is going to be a hidden hand that we discover.
Well, if you have some deep dives you want to do tomorrow, we can come on. I think unless a shift drops out of the sky, I'm going to be doing this again tomorrow, probably at normal time, 10 in the morning. So we can, if you have some articles, especially since me and you need to start getting schooling ourselves up for a Gladio talk and how it connects into all different stuff. And this is kind of perfect timing. We're doing on the ground research, type deal, trying to make connections. This will be good things to have to add to our repertoire for our episode on Tinfoil Hat next week. So if you have, say, I know you had said before there was some sort of article I remember you brought up a few times when it comes to Omar Mateen and where he was training at, and so maybe that'd be a good time for us to get into that. I do need to do another deep dive on the show, so I need one of those larger articles. So that might be one that ties into what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, because it'll connect directly to that compound in New Mexico where they were training up school shooters, which has a direct connection to an Islamic seminary course and a masjid cleric. And it just like legitimately, man, like this is modern Gladio. This is the playbook for modern Operation Gladio. And so, we should do that. I think that would be worthwhile, because
if you have some stuff you want to bring tomorrow, maybe the news can settle down a little bit for us, and after we've covered we can go a little bit more into breaking it down. I got here Tony Kowalski says breaking sources also confirming Livelsberger served at the same military base as the terrorists responsible for the attack in New Orleans, and authorities are investigating a possible connection between the two men. So that's the one that people are bringing up frequently. Here's from my buddy Clint. Said 2 months ago he changes his resume to the role of remote and autonomous systems manager. Today he loads up a self-driving Cybertruck and puts it in front of Trump's hotel with fireworks, despite having special forces experience, doing minimal damage. Come on, man, insane. Weird stuff for fucking sure. Here's more on this guy is a glowy. This is from Ben Swan. It says Las Vegas Cybertruck bomber Matt Livelsberger was reportedly recruiting fighters for Ukraine, according to his social media activity. Here is a photo of it. It says quick turn 30-day contract op in Ukraine at $550 per day, travel and lodging included. And then below it, it's got a comment. It says, I've got a top 18D recently ETS, which means, estimated time of separation, just means the guy who got out of the military, who is looking for just this opportunity. Sent him your way. So, which should be fair. I mean, this guy is special forces, prior military. It's not that crazy that, he knows people that sets it up and like, hey, if I know a guy who got out. So it's actually not that crazy. So we even have here, you got Robert Patrick saying this is not recruiting. You should know better than this. If he was a recruiter, he wouldn't be doing it by responding to Facebook posts. Yeah, because in that post, it is him responding. So, I mean, I guess to be fair, they're both correct. So these are both mutuals of mine. Robert Patrick Lewis is saying that this isn't recruiting. He is right. Matt is responding to a recruiting ad. He is, I guess, sort of technically kind of recruiting since he did hook someone up with this. But it's not that crazy that if this guy did serve a career in the military, that he would know people that getting out of the military looking to do glowy shit like he was doing when he was in the military. So I don't know. But either way, still, it's like this is the kind of guy we're dealing with. So I may have jumped the gun on that one. But it's still fucking like it still raises eyebrows. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's going on in Fort Bragg? For those who aren't aware, in 2020, at least 44 Fort Bragg soldiers died stateside. Several of them were homicides. So that's this is something I've seen shared around. I was tagged in to be like, what the fuck's going on there? This is where both these guys came from. Is Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg also is a history of other glowy shit. I don't know if it was this one. I saw someone was referring to somewhere about what goes on in Fort Bragg. I believe it's some sort of major intel area, isn't it? Of some sort.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah,
Fort Bragg has definitely been involved in a lot of different covert operations, right? So I'm not surprised. It's one of the usual suspects in terms of it's either there or somewhere in Littleton, Colorado, right? Where,
which, by the way, Ryan Wesley Routh, that's where he was at too. Was Fort Bragg?
Yeah,
that's where he was staying like a fuckload. That's basically where he was going in and out of with all of his Ukraine trips and stuff. So, I believe, if I recall correctly. So, yeah.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, and Fort Bragg is where they trained commando ops. I'm seeing like a fucking. They also renamed it to Fort Liberty at some point, and I think it's partially because it's an area that gets a bad rap for doing glowy shit, so they probably changed the name to obfuscate a little bit. Yeah. So I'm trying to see if I can find. I knew I had some more shit saved on fucking this place and how fucking glowy it is. Seeing if I can find it. Yeah, Fort Bragg is the home of the Army's Psychological Operations Unit.
There you go.
So 3 different men all came out radicalized from the same base. This is from someone named Savannah. As a known fact, the CIA works in conjunction with and recruits from this base. Our enemy is our own. This is from someone named Savannah at base Savannah on there. But yes, the Army Psychological Operations Unit. So
My God.
mean, we got the Trump assassination attempt guys, the New Year's massacre, and the and the Cybertruck thing, all from Fort Bragg. So wild shit. Yeah.
My God, brother.
Yeah, there's one tweet I did want to bring up from my buddy Clint real quick. I just thought this was a good tweet. I was trying to see if I could get him on earlier. He was sleeping. He woke up after we started. Said, I was in a space making the case that the Vegas attack makes no sense to me. It might be a false flag. Everyone agreed, but it was odd, but refused to believe that the federal government might stage an attack to justify a war. Northwoods, Tonkin, WMDs? No. How about funding COVID? How about killing millions of people with a bioweapon and putting the guy who greenlit the funding in charge of the response team? How about letting him lie to Congress about all of it and never charging him as he was clearly the bag man for the CIA? How about the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping hoax? How about the J6 pipe bomber who was apparently the only reason on J6 they couldn't track down in jail while they rounded up 1,000 other people? What about OKC? What about Waco? What about Ruby Ridge? How about the multiple attempts on Trump? How about that prime sniper location that just happened to be left unguarded because the roof pitch was too dangerous, but the counter sniper team was actually on another roof with a worse pitch? How about the dozen examples of the feds entrapping literal retards after teaching them how to create inert IEDs? How about all the mass shooters who were on their radar but never got stopped? How about MLK, RFK, JFK, Malcolm X? No, couldn't be. You're crazy. Now, I'm not saying that any of the attacks yesterday were definitively false flags. I don't know. There are a ton of people all over the world that would like to kill us over our insane foreign policy, no doubt. But if you think it's impossible the U.S. government was responsible for these attacks, you simply don't know what your government is or what it's capable of. And this is a really great encapsulation of like why we're like this, why these things happen, and we immediately start going, because when you are familiar with the degree to which your government has fucked you over, you become a fool to not immediately start looking at things through the lens of how are they fucking me? Because usually they are. Like, so we are pattern recognizing creatures. Like, this is how we get by. This is literally a defense mechanism that we realize they're fucking with us. So like, it's like, they're almost certainly like, don't get me wrong, I don't think you should knee-jerk immediately assume things, but I think the rational take on things like this is to be skeptical of the power elite being involved.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's perfectly rational. Yeah.
Well said, buddy.
Yeah.
That's all that I do is attempt to remain skeptical, but as objective as possible. I will say that, I clearly I have some very obvious bias when it comes to a knee-jerk reaction, assuming false flag, but I think that's only because of all of this accumulated research over time has pointed to the fact that the vast majority, right, of these, high-profile, crises, right, that they very much seem to be manufactured crisis, and that is typically the case in every single as far as like you want to point to what you just alluded to in Clint's tweet is perfectly accurate, because every single one of those events you can point to directly, and it proves out, right, what our government has been capable of and what they're willing to do in order to maintain their power and influence and facilitate it, and grow that power as much as they possibly can. And that is a consistent strategy. It's always the goal. And so I think that everyone tends to underestimate the true nature of power itself, right? And I think that it's so obvious that psychopaths are the most attracted, right, to those areas as far as in order to abuse that power, for one. But it's just typically the average person, they seem to be much more content with just, right, pursuing goals in their own personal lives, attempting to, right, like gain some sort of prosperity as an individual, but I think that what we lose is this unfortunate naivete. That's where we kind of like this gap is sort of increased, and we tend to fall further and further into this sort of partisan illusion, right, where we believe that there's this difference, and there is some group in Washington D.C. that has our best interest at heart. And I just think that through generations of researching, right, generational power dynamics and right, the elite groups that have risen to power, and understanding the details of how they got into that position, then you are no longer kind of in that naive realm of right, just vulnerability and being led by the nose down these paths of really just false narratives surrounding us at every point, right, and at every waking moment. And so it for me, how can you not remain skeptical when it comes to events such as this, right? Because it's only been proven to us that this is, right, the dystopian reality that we're facing is that we cannot trust our own eyes, right?
Yeah.
that's by design, man. Like this is right the demoralization of of the globalist framework, and it's honestly achieving more than man is comprehensible, to a lot of people. And that's where they fall under that partisan delusion, and they want to worship these false prophets because they're desperate, ultimately, right?
Yeah, speaking of demoralization campaigns, here we have FBI says it thwarted apparent plot against AIPAC. The
Jesus.
FBI thwarted an apparent plot to harm employees at a Florida office of the AIPAC, American Israel Public Affairs Committee, according to court documents filed Monday. Law enforcement arrested Forrest Kendall Pemberton after he allegedly traveled to Plantation, Florida, in search of AIPAC's office with several firearms, including an AR-15 rifle. Pemberton told police he went to the site, a former AIPAC office, to scout out the location before returning with the firearms, according to an affidavit signed by FBI Special Agent Taylor Nicklin. He was intercepted in a rideshare vehicle carrying the guns on December 25th, the first night of Hanukkah. While the court documents do not explicitly name AIPAC as a target, they described it as an organization that advocates and lobbies for pro-Israel policies that strengthen and expand the U.S.-Israel relationship, phrasing featured on AIPAC's website. Pemberton's father contacted law enforcement on December 23rd to notify them that his son had left home, leaving behind a letter saying he wanted to close the loop, stoke the flames, and say goodbye to his family, according to the affidavit. His computer showed searches and Google Map queries for AIPAC and its former plantation office, as well as the IRS. Oh, shit. Should have left him alone. Taxpayer Assistance Center and the IRS Appeals and Chief Counsel Office. Pemberton checked into a hotel just 2 miles away from AIPAC's former office on December 22nd. He checked out on December 23rd and was traced to a Tallahassee hotel the next day, where he was seen on December 25th entering the rideshare with an apparent soft rifle case. Now, this is the Luigi Mangione we deserved, is what it sounds like. He told police he chose AIPAC as his target because of its political influence and location, saying he was frustrated with the status quo and wanted to see if he could make a change, according to the affidavit. However, Pemberton said he ultimately decided against committing criminal action. It would have been a one-way ticket. In Plantation, I decided I wasn't ready. I gave up, he told police, to read the affidavit. All right, so it sounds like a guy who literally just gave up. He literally didn't even actually said he may have been. Sounds like they got him saying somewhere that he might do things or something. This seems incredibly contrived. Is all I'm saying. Oh, yeah. Insanely Absolutely. Contrived. Well, with that, I guess I don't really have much else to say about this contrived ass AIPAC story, but it was a funny headline, so I felt like reading it. Austin, you want to let people know where they can find you and kind of what you got going on these days, and I guess maybe I'll see you maybe tomorrow, probably.
Sounds good, buddy. Yeah. Honestly, man, like I'm kind of workshopping a few different ideas right now, but I am very much like, one day I'm going to have to do an Epstein episode because, it's just
back to basics.
It's just as current, right? Yeah. Right. But it is just as relevant, I feel, and in this very moment, because due to, the network of as far as Epstein's influence in general and the Maxwell network, right? Like it implicates so many individuals of prominence in power in this very moment. And I think that, kind of pursuing the details as far as that's concerned and the rise to power of those prominent individuals, you tend to trace back these connections to these very usual suspects that were prominent in Danny Castellero's Octopus and Iran-Contra and every single operation that we speak on, on a regular basis. So at some point, I'm going to have to kind of, attempt to hunt that octopus again, because I think that Iran-Contra, it just like a lot of these operations, they're much more broad as far as the spectrum is concerned. They kind of like, it's just like when we talk about like North Fox Island or some of the, sexual abuse networks. It's like it never stops at just the sexual abuse, right? There's always the CP. There's always the potential snuff aspect to it all as well. And so you have this enterprise that forms around this sadistic form of abuse, and it only tends to facilitate the very worst and darkest aspects of that abuse, right? And I think that is mirrored in intelligence. It's the same thing I was just reading in that insane article that I brought on Already Dead the other day was intelligence agencies, they directly reflect secret societies and these esoteric organizations, right? And it's very interesting as far as the principles and the framework that they operate from. It's so similar, right? And so I just think that in understanding that these networks to a larger extent, we can potentially answer some of these questions for ourselves and be a lot less likely to fall victim to, worshiping these false idols, because that's what I'm so, it really just, man, I find it reprehensible, buddy. Like, I can't stand the fact that people consistently fall into this trap, this partisan trap, and they play this game that only facilitates the very problem, as far as you're only facilitating the agenda of our common enemy through conducting and engaging in that process. And I feel sorry for people who have yet to break free from that. But so my attempt is to kind of, bring people, of course, bridge that gap, but bring people with me through this, right? As far as like through this kind of strange path of, I'm, again, like I said, attempting to remain objective while deflecting away from these ideological, prisons, right? That we're that they are ushering us into on a daily basis, and there are new ideological, enslavement camps and concentration camps like being manufactured that will seduce you into that fold as well. Like I said on Tuesday, the fold of the establishment, right? And so if you find yourself, right, sort of defending and pursuing the facilitation of the very goals, right, of the establishment itself, then how on earth, right? How on earth can you defend you and your family, as far as yourself and your family, against these clearly these covert machinations that are ushering through this totalitarian technocratic future dystopian reality? And that's what I'm so concerned with, is that unfortunately people are more concerned with viewing all of these issues, all of these events through this what I think is a contrived lens of the culture war, right? It's this distraction, and so it's deception, man. And so I'm sorry, I don't mean to be long-winded, brother, but man, I just get frustrated.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think that we're going to again find a smoking gun in relation to these events, and I'm sure we'll be able to expose that once again we've been seduced into believing that this could occur naturally or organically, through some sort of, I don't know, dissident reaction, right, to the current state of politics in America. But I just like you said before, I'm so much more inclined to believe it's political theater, right? And they'll sacrifice as many peasant class as necessary, right? Because that is just the reality. We're in a feudalist system, right? It's just a modern form of that feudalist system, and the lower classes.
Whoa, real quick. We're seeing in the chat breaking news, and I as he was doing, I was looking for it, and I was trying to find it. He's saying Cybertruck guy had a gunshot wound to his head. Either was killed and placed in, or killed himself and detonated later.
Wow.
Wild. Yeah, because as soon as he said that, I started looking on Twitter, and I saw it for a second, and it did that stupid fucking thing where it like auto updates, and then it like lost it, and then he happened to comment on it. So then I can't find where it says that, but I totally just saw it on Twitter when he said that. But that's wild. Yeah, no, that must have just been information that just came out. But yeah, whoa, that's fucking nuts. Especially because it seemed more like a techie type thing, and it seemed very different from the other thing. So I'm like, what?
Right.
What is going on? All right, man. Man, this should be this will be interesting tomorrow. I mean, I feel like there's gonna be more information coming tomorrow. All right, man. Where can people find you at? We'll go ahead and get out of here before more breaking stuff happens and we get stuck here. But yeah, where can people find you at, and what are you working on right now?
Sounds good, buddy. Yeah, you guys just follow me on at the Underclass Podcast. As far as you can basically find that on mostly all the platforms, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, best places to support me: Patreon and Buzzsprout at the Underclass Podcast. But yeah, like I said, who knows what I'm going to fall on as far as my upcoming project? But I have a few things that I'm workshopping, so it'll be interesting one way or the other. But beyond that, yep, I don't know, nothing really planned yet. Just starting the new year hot, brother, with the false flags and psychological operations, right?
Man, dude, we are the kings this year, dog. Dude, we're gonna fucking kill it. We're gonna be running this shit, dude. Fucking, this is our year, not year for people, being innocent and hanging out with a bunch of other people. Probably not the greatest time for you, but we're gonna be killing it.
You're the schizophrenic, my friend.
Well, dude, let's go ahead and get out of here, though. You dropped your plugs, right? I believe you said them already. You guys, if you want to support what I'm doing over here, it's patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is where you get the early stuff. That's $2. At that level, you get the early stuff. You also can be a talking head on the show with me and Austin that we do every Tuesday at 9:30. You can come on to the call-in portion of the show, and you can do a video call-in. You also get the early episodes. Like tomorrow, I have dropping for the public an episode with Jonathan Franklin, a reporter who interviewed Timothy McVeigh. I also am tonight interviewing a content creator named Broth, who has done a lot on 09A, 764, Josh Sutter, and stuff like that recently. So I'm looking forward to just kind of shooting the bull with him and kind of going down those rabbit holes. So these are things you would get early. Get that one tonight, and it's not going public for at least like a week if you're a patron, and you could help support the show. But the highest levels, my sponsors, I read them off every episode, is a big shout out. I have my co-host Toad on Tower Gang at Tower Gang Toad. I also have at Abrogate D's at ZOVERCK at _Infinite Zeal. They have Tim Tuttle at Jolly on Klebold. Then I have Will Bell as Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine. Then big fan of the show, Torin May. Then also I have at INWARD Lover at Inward Lover, because we should all learn to look inward and learn to love ourselves, and we should all be inward lovers together. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you're listening to this on an audio podcatcher, make sure to leave a 5-star review. That helps out a lot. Like. You need to, if you're watching this wherever you are, hit that like button. It takes no time for you, helps us out a lot. This guy here saying, Austin, you update your Patreon tier so he can give you more money. He's trying to give you more money, dude. Well, if you're not satisfied with the amount of money you're giving him, you can come on over to mine. And there are varying tiers. I have the $2 tier, I have the $5 tier, I have the $10 tier, I have the $20 tier. There's also a custom tier. You can just give me more or less. You guys can do custom tiers. But I appreciate all of you.
How to do that. I haven't messed with my Patreon in a minute.
Yeah, I work this week, and I keep promising my Patreon that I know how to set up an ad-free RSS feed on Patreon. I'm pretty sure I know how. I just haven't done it yet, and I keep telling him I'm going to, but I worked this weekend, so I still haven't got around to it. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm always super busy. I'm always working or podcasting or doing something with the family. Very rarely do I just have nothing to do. I think this weekend I actually will have nothing to do. So just throwing it out there. That should be coming soon. I'm sorry I'm dragging my feet. But I appreciate all of you guys out there that support me and Austin. I think me and him are going to have a cool year. Definitely go follow his show over at the Underclass. His show is blowing up. We were just talking before we started that you need to get monetized now. You're over. We were talking forever. We're like, damn, it's going to take forever for you to get monetized. I think you have to hit 1,000, and then you just hit that algo because you have so much stuff. that was just sitting there waiting. Just hit that algo just right, and boom! Now you got over 1,000 subscribers. You got one video that's did almost 20,000 views. You're killing it. I think they're starting to. The algo has found you, and they are starting to recognize your work like I did. So I'm glad that's happening. But enough of the rambling. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Deuces. We will see you tomorrow.